Leaders of the BRICS group are in Brazil for a summit, but the heads of state of two powerful members, China and Russia, are absent. I'm joined by K.S. Dakshinamurthy, the Federal's consulting editor who follows international affairs closely, to discuss his perspectives on the BRICS grouping, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi's role focusing on India's stance against terrorism. And sir, thank you for joining me. And my first question to you is, how relevant is the BRICS grouping now?
The BRICS grouping is, of course, pretty relevant, though how far relevant is really the issue here. If you look at BRICS, I mean, a grouping like this is necessary. It's also important because it lends a voice to the South. And number one. Number two, it also brings up many issues which otherwise may get stifled. So, as a grouping, it's a BRICS is something that which is pretty important, and it has done a lot of good work in the past. Of course, there is an element of a doubt regarding BRICS and how far it can go, because you have two really major issues, at least three major issues in recent times. One is this continuing assault on Gaza by Israel, and I really don't see much of a role that BRICS has played in any way to stop it, or have to intervene in it effectively. That is the one thing. The second one is the Russia-Ukraine war that has been now going on since 2022. The BRICS does not seem to have made that kind of an impact, or at least there seems to be no really visible attempt to intervene or sort it out. And the third one is, of course, the recent attack on Iran by Israel. It fired nuclear missiles into Iran, and the BRICS, I mean, beyond a point, it really couldn't do much about it. So there is, there is a doubt about how far BRICS can go. I would say it's really a mixed bag, and it's really up to the countries which are, which are part of BRICS to make it more effective.
Okay, so the next question is about what Modi said something very important yesterday. So he condemned terrorism actually on the whole at the BRICS summit, citing the Pahalgam attack. So how do you assess the impact of Modi's strong anti-terrorism stance at the BRICS summit, and do you think this will influence BRICS nations, especially those like China, that have previously blocked UN sanctions against Pakistan-based terrorists or terrorism activities, to align more closely with India's position?
Okay, so when a grouping like the BRICS passes the resolution and then condemns terrorism, especially in the context of the Pahalgam attack, what it basically it is doing is it's placing on record, the condemnation about such attacks, and the fact that Modi is there, and he's kind of led this whole issue about terrorism. India is, as the world itself knows, that India is really strong on Pakistan and counter terrorism. India continues to feel, or with some evidence, that Pakistan is behind many of these attacks in India. And India is really particularly has been keen over the last several years that somehow this should stop. This cross-border terrorism should stop. And on the issue of terrorism per se, no country in the world is going to oppose resolution condemning it, because there is no one which who really formally or openly or overtly supports terrorism. At the same time, the issue of terrorism is also mired in politics. In the recent Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting, you have a situation where Pakistan and China got together, and they tried to push through their view of terrorism, regarding the Balochistan train hijack, and they left out Pahalgam. So India refused to sign, and then eventually the resolution did not go through. In BRICS, Pakistan is not there. So if Pakistan had been there, whether what reaction BRICS would have had on this resolution, we don't know. So it is still an open-ended question. How countries view terrorism, because terrorism itself is really a multi-layered issue, and it's a work in progress, I would say. It's not really something that we can come to any conclusion. Of course, it's one step at a time, and BRICS has condemned it. So to that extent, I guess some countries at least are with India on this.
Also, Modi took a leadership with Xi Jinping and Putin absent. So, how does this enhance India's influence in shaping BRICS' agenda?
See, that was, the absence of Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin is more of a technicality. In the case of Russia, Putin is generally not visiting he's not going abroad, because there are some charges which have been filed against him, in the war with Ukraine, and there have been allegations and charges that he is a war criminal, etc., etc. So he probably does not want to take a chance. So he's not been going out of Russia in recent years. And as far as Xi Jinping is concerned, he sent his representative. So the point is, both China and Russia are present, and in fact, Putin appeared on he spoke to the members of the BRICS via a video. So we cannot really say that China and Russia were absent. It's only the leaders who were who did not come for their own reasons. That does not bring down the the weight of Russia and China within BRICS. I mean, they are very much there. And in their absence, of course, India being one of the founding members, and Modi, so he automatically the spotlight came on him. So that's about it. I don't see any big change that has happened within the BRICS because of the physical absence of these two leaders of Russia and China.
Okay, so Modi advocated for global South representation also, in global institutions. So, how will that help the group?
See, the more the representation, it is better in the sense that you have more countries. For instance, BRICS started off with only 4 countries, and then South Africa joined it, and then much more recently, you had countries in the Middle East joining it, and Africa also joining. So it is a good thing, no doubt, but that by itself does not make it better, because sometimes you can also have a situation where an unwieldy group can also be problematic. So more than a South representation, fine. You have a few more countries joining. You have voices of these countries on a world stage, and you have a platform for them to air their grievances. It is, on the face of it, it is good, but how effective that is really open to question.
As you rightly mentioned at the beginning of the of your answer to this question, BRICS started small and then it expanded. Like BRICS was originally started by Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Then last year it added Indonesia, Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, and the UAE as new members. Then the group also has 10 strategic partner countries such as Belarus, Cuba, and Vietnam. So by increasing the number of member countries, does it make BRICS more effective?
Yeah, so as I told you, it is a double-edged sword, in the sense it has the potential. BRICS has the potential, because today we are living in a world where the US under its president Donald Trump is really pushing, at the rest of the world, in terms of the reciprocal tariffs, for instance, and then Trump's, his style of functioning, his administration, and the way he has gone around the world, trying to be there everywhere and trying to play a big role, and trying to be part of this thing of MAGA, make America great again, and all that. So what is basically happening is that it is kind of pushing or pressurizing the rest of the world into situations which, frankly, nobody foresaw, like the reciprocal tariffs again comes to my mind. So a group like the BRICS is actually, there is a lot of hope or expectation that a group like BRICS will, push back on this. In fact, Trump himself has threatened, saying that whoever joins BRICS, and which he calls an anti-American group, they are going to penalize 10% more on the already proposed tariff. So Trump is also pretty brazen in the kind of warning he's given BRICS. So what it also shows is that BRICS is taken seriously by Trump, which is in itself a very good thing. And more countries joining BRICS, is definitely going to make it a far more powerful body. But as I said earlier, it should not get unwieldy, and the size itself shouldn't pull it down. So it's a challenge, and it is up to the leaders of BRICS, all the founder countries and others, to have a very clear-cut vision, and probably even have a roadmap on how they're going to go ahead with this new challenges that the world is facing today.
As you rightly said, Trump, takes BRICS seriously, and that is going to be the headline for this interview. So, thank you so much for this, for your time, sir. Viewers, for more such updates, for more such analysis, for more such interviews, stay tuned with the Federal. Thank you, sir.